The reason the main character became a developer is quite simple. It is because he thought it was a job where he could quietly work without talking much to people. A black-haired man is sitting on a chair, typing on his keyboard. His name is Kong Donggu, and he is known as Max in the company. While Max is working, someone calls, asking who she should speak to for workspace access. The girl has brown hair and a beautiful face, and she is sitting next to Max. She looks at Max's computer screen and tells him that she wants to check the code in advance too. She explains that she came early since it is her first time after transferring, but she has nothing special to do. Max looks at her box, thinking that if he were her, he would have organized his stuff first. Max tells her to ask Patrick because he handles workspace permissions. She opens her phone and asks what time Patrick usually comes to work. Max replies that he will come at around 10. Seeing the time, she says that since there is some time left, and then both of them stop talking. Max finds the situation very awkward and silently tries to put on his headset as naturally as possible, praying that she doesn't talk to him. But she suddenly remembers something, which startles Max, and asks who is updating their team's collaborative development guideline documents because she is curious. Nervously, Max tells her that he wrote the first draft, and Andy does the review. He asks if there is something strange about it. She replies that there is nothing wrong and even compliments that it is very clean and well organized. She also says Max is indeed meticulous, just as she has heard. It gives him chills, wondering where she heard such a thing, and he tries to calm himself by thinking the compliment might also be for Andy. She starts talking again, making the introvert feel more nervous, but she simply tells him to call her Joy and happily adds that there is no need for formalities. Her lively behavior is too much for Max to handle. Another coworker enters the office and starts a conversation with Joy, saying she came early today and asking if she got the lunch meeting place notice. Joy happily replies that she received the notice and laughs, asking if they should check out the commerce team's company card limit today. The golden-haired girl agrees and asks if Joy had coffee yet. Joy replies that she hasn't, so she decides to go to the cafeteria with her and even offers to treat her. Hearing that, Max looks at the coffee cup Joy had, which is still more than half full, yet she still wants more coffee. The extroverted Joy hesitates and calls Max, but he instantly turns her down, saying that he doesn't drink coffee and also has tasks to finish. Max thinks she seems like a very considerate type of person. Instead of feeling bad, Joy happily tells Max that they will have tea next time with no caffeine. Max is left with no comeback but to agree, thinking about her overwhelming energy. The scene then shifts to Joy and her coworker eating lunch and having fun conversations. Joy is her nickname, and she has 5 years of experience as a front-end developer. Her real name is still unknown. She has excellent work skills and a sociable personality. There are also rumors that she is very famous on Instagram with tons of followers, so Max believes she is a very diligent person. Max is also eating at the cafeteria, looking at Joy while having his meal. He thinks Joy is always enthusiastic, giving energy to people around her, someone who is completely opposite to him. At the two-come place, the black-haired man says that since Max doesn't drink coffee, he can return to the office first while they take their time with coffee. Hearing that, the black-haired girl asks Max to reserve a meeting room for 1 p.m. if he is heading back to the office. Max agrees without refusing and goes back to the office building. In the elevator, he thinks about how they sent him back to have him do their work, even though every place has decaf these days, though Max was not planning to join them anyway. Then Max unpacks his candy and eats it, thinking about how she asked someone from another department to reserve a meeting room, and how she even said she should have dumped those errands on her junior instead. Max complains that no one in the company has any consideration. The lift reaches the 10th floor, displaying the company logo. Max walks forward, thinking that next month will mark exactly 1 year since he joined, which means he will be eligible for severance pay. He starts considering preparing to switch jobs. He notices Joy's laptop on her desk, left with the screen still on. Max peeks at her laptop and sees a job search site open there. He wonders if she is reckless because she is exposing everything, from document submission to second-round interviews, making it obvious to anyone that she is preparing to switch jobs. Max finds it very unsettling, especially when he recalls the moment she invited him to have tea next time together. He finds it frightening because she said that to his face while secretly job hunting, and she is doing this on her very first day of joining the team. Max starts walking around the table, thinking that employees are full of hypocrisy, and that he can't trust them anymore. He suddenly stops, wondering if leaving the laptop openly displayed like this was careless, or if Joy is simply fearless. He worries that if the screen stays open, someone else might see it. Thinking about that, Max circles around the table and notices co-workers whispering to each other, pointing out that he is from the commerce team and asking why he is walking around. Another co-worker tells her not to look at him and to just keep moving. This makes Max very angry, and he throws his candy onto Joy's desk, deciding that he doesn't care anymore. He thinks it's none of his business if people secretly look for jobs at work or not. Max sits at his chair, convincing himself again that it really isn't his concern. But then he remembers Joy, who left him no choice. After some time, Joy comes running back to her desk and sees that her laptop lid is closed. She looks very exhausted and glances at Max, who is dozing off in his chair. A black-haired coworker asks Joy why she had left in such a rush earlier. Joy replies casually that it was nothing important. Suddenly, Max's alarm rings, waking him up, though he still feels sleepy. He thinks that if he had eaten alone, he could have napped for at least 40 minutes. As he wakes, Joy hands him a coffee, saying it is for him. Max doesn't understand why she is giving him coffee, but he accepts it and thanks her. Looking at the cup, he notices it is decaf and wonders if she had been concerned about him earlier. The thought makes Max believe Joy is actually thoughtful, but at the same time, he becomes nervous and starts sweating under her gaze. Max glances at her, wondering if she realized he covered for her. He panics internally, debating whether he should just admit the truth, that it looked like she was about to get caught, so he closed the laptop lid for her. But then he thinks that if he says that, he will just look like some weirdo. He worries, thinking he only acted out of consideration, and reminds himself that she never asked for help. He also fears she might confront him for touching her things without permission. After all, he was meddling. Max becomes very anxious, regretting his decision and thinking he should have just pretended he didn't see anything. Meanwhile, Joy keeps looking at him, then suddenly smiles and compliments his eye mask, saying it looks very cute. She asks where he bought it and whether he can share the link with her. Max is shocked but relieved, quickly telling her that he will send it to her on Messenger. Just a moment ago, he felt like he was losing his mind. After that, Joy starts working again and notices the candy near her mousepad. Up until this point, Max had absolutely no idea how drastically his office life was about to change. Joy picks up the candy, wondering who placed it there. The reason Max goes to work early is simple. It's because he can leave early that way. He checks the time. It's 8:04 a.m. The average arrival time of the team members is between 9 and 10 a.m. Therefore, the office right now is the very definition of quiet. Max prepares a cup of chamomile tea to calm his mind and body before starting work. He reviews the code he wrote yesterday and begins refactoring it. This calmness is exactly what he loves the most. Suddenly, he hears a sound, and he thinks that what used to be his healing time at work is now gone. Joy sits beside him, offering the snacks she was eating. Max replies that he's fine, though inside he wonders why he has to sit next to her. It's now afternoon, and every lunchtime, like clockwork, people swarm around Joy's desk. People chatter noisily, while Max mutters that he wants to take a nap, telling them to go to the break room or cafe if they want to chat. Someone asks Joy if she has been coming in early these days, saying they thought she usually showed up around 10 when she was in the finance solutions team. Joy replies that she's trying to build a better work-life balance now. Meanwhile, Max thinks to himself that it's more like she's building a resume for a new job before quitting. Someone else questions her again, confirming that Joy took a half-day off yesterday. She agrees. Then she is asked if everything is okay since she also took emergency leave last week. She fumbles, saying she has just been busy preparing to move, calling it a bit chaotic. Max continues his work, wondering why he's the one feeling anxious. Later, outside, a blonde-haired guy stands near Max. His original name is Park Doyle, but his company nickname is Patrick. He says it's obvious that Joy is definitely going for interviews. He points out that it's hiring season right now and questions why she would take multiple days off during such a time. Max, on his phone, thinks that Patrick dragged him all the way to the rooftop just to gossip, calling him a busybody. Finally, Max says, "Isn't it just speculation?" He reminds Patrick that Joy said it was because of moving. Patrick questions if Max didn't notice how tense Joy's face looked earlier, calling him surprisingly naive, making Max think Patrick is acting childish. Still, he realizes Patrick's instincts are sharp. Brushing the topic off, Patrick sits beside him and asks if Max can handle the development at 7 p.m. for him today. He explains that he has been busy running around checking out houses for his newlywed home lately and just got a call from the realtor about a good one, mentioning that timing is crucial for these things. In frustration, Max thinks that this is the real reason Patrick brought him to the rooftop. Patrick continues, saying that having a junior is great, asking Max to just help him out this once. He adds that Max doesn't have any plans after work anyway and offers him a can of black coffee as a gift. Max stares in frustration, but stays silent. Later in the evening, Max is working on his laptop, muttering to himself that he'll get back at Patrick someday. Joy notices the coffee can on his desk and reminds him that he once said he can't drink coffee. Max replies that it's like a totem, just for display. In a serious tone, Joy says that if that's the case, she'll buy him some whenever she sees a buy-one-get-one-free offer at the convenience store. Max asks her not to, thinking to himself that he really feels like quitting. Suddenly, a text shows up on Joy's screen, saying that Max has developed the latest version of the admin features and is requesting Q&A for the live server. It makes Joy question why, since Patrick was supposed to have that responsibility. Max thinks it's obvious that Patrick just dumped the work on him. It isn't even funny. He replies that Patrick said the timing for the realtor was urgent or something. Quickly changing the subject, he points out that she came in at 8 a.m. today and asks if she isn't leaving yet. Joy replies that she was planning to leave early, but she ended up analyzing some code, and now it's this late. She adds that she's about to head out. Max is thinking that she's just pretending to be responsible, but she's going to leave anyway, when Joy suddenly calls out his name. She asks if someone were to switch jobs during such a busy time. Would that be selfish? Max is flustered, but then she adds that it's not her, she means a friend. She says it's her friend's situation. Max wonders why he's the one flustered while Joy continues. She explains that her friend is thinking about changing jobs, but since the company is already busy, they're worried about leaving their teammates behind. With a little laugh, she says that her friend can't focus and is feeling conflicted about a lot of things. Max starts to think again. Patrick already suspects her. If she really is going to leave, she should at least not make it so obvious. He shuts his thoughts down and tells her that it's their career, and if they get a good offer from a better place, they should take it. Joy replies, asking if it really is that simple, which makes Max wonder if he sounded too arrogant in front of someone with 5 years of experience. Joy then says the QA is done and tells Max that he should head home too. Somehow, they end up leaving together. They stand by the traffic light when Joy mentions that she takes the bus to Gyeongju Station, asking how about Max. He answers that he takes the bus too. With a gentle laugh, she clarifies that she meant to ask where he lives. Nervously, he replies that it's near ORI Station. Joy realizes it's really close and asks if they're going the same way, making Max think that he should just take the subway instead. Feeling awkward, he casually takes out his headphones. Suddenly, Joy hands him some chocolates, saying it's better than the decorative caffeine-free drink. Max thanks her while wondering if he did something good to deserve it. She leans closer and whispers in his ear that it's for putting up with that lazy senior. Max gets nervous and reminds himself to stay calm. He thinks that Joy is kind to everyone, but even so, he's always on the receiving end. He then thinks he has no choice but to offer her some throat candies. With a polite laugh, she admits that she loves them, saying the sharp tingling sensation is so unique, it feels like her throat is burning with magma. Relieved, Max thinks it's good enough if she likes it. She opens the wrapper and notices the flavor. After a long pause, she suddenly asks Max if he happened to see her screen the other day. They sit in silence as the bus arrives, and Max rushes in a hurry, saying he'll head in first, leaving Joy behind. Sitting on a bus seat, he admits to himself that he wants to change jobs. The next morning, Max starts at 10 a.m., doubting if this is the first time since he began working here. He couldn't sleep at all because of what happened yesterday. As he steps forward, he notices Joy already working. He talks to himself, questioning if he's going to be okay, and even considers taking a day off. A sudden shout cuts in. A woman says that an issue has occurred, explaining that the order screen isn't showing up for a new partner store, and asks if it is Joy's responsibility. Joy steps up, agreeing that it is, but explains she only received the handover documents for that section. She adds it might take some time to figure it out. The woman realizes Joy just joined last week and asks what they should do since the person who knows the history of the project is off until tomorrow. Both women see Max passing by, and he ends up working with Joy until the evening. Joy says that she has changed the table in the sequel he mentioned, and it might be a library version issue, so she'll check that too. She adds there was a similar issue with the settlement solution. Max replies with just an okay, while thinking if it's even right to do this considering they don't pay overtime, saying it's not even his part. Then he thinks maybe that's not the issue here. That question from yesterday, it's probably about the laptop, and he's 100% sure. He wonders if Joy is testing him, or if it's just some next-level mind game. He decides to act like he knows nothing until the very end. Joy begins speaking, bringing up what they talked about at the bus stop yesterday. She says that last week she saw the same candy on the desk, which is why she wondered if it was him. She then asks Max not to worry about the screen thing, saying it's nothing. Suddenly, Max drops his mug. Joy shouts, asking if he's okay, while Max orders himself to get together, wondering why he's so nervous. He leans down to pick up the broken mug, but Joy stops him, saying he'll hurt himself if he picks it up with bare hands. He reassures himself that he didn't do anything wrong. Joy taps him with her finger, asking him to look at her. With a slight smile, she asks if he saw the screen. Max flusters, cuts his hand on a broken piece, and screams in pain. Joy calls out, asking if he's okay. Later, Joy cleans the glass while Max sits at his desk, finally admitting that he didn't mean to look at it. The screen was just right there, and apologizes. Joy says he has nothing to apologize for. While handing him a glass of water, she adds that if anything, she's grateful he cared enough to notice. Max thanks her and assures her that he hasn't told anyone about it. Joy sits in front of him, saying she understands and that she should be the one apologizing. She explains that everyone has been desperate for extra manpower, and they must finally feel a bit relieved, but here she is, secretly planning to leave from day one. She says she feels ashamed and embarrassed. Max tells her not to worry since everyone has their own circumstances. Meanwhile, he thinks to himself that he was planning his own escape route anyway. As she picks up the glass, Joy questions Max if he ever feels stuck. She explains that back when she was a junior, she worked overtime every single day. But after 3 years, she got the hang of it and became used to the process. Work became easier, but also unsettling. Her experience was building up, but her performance felt stagnant. She adds that she feels like it's time to take on something new, but sometimes she wonders if she's just gotten too comfortable. Taking a sip, she says she decided she shouldn't wait any longer and took this opportunity to try, and now she's been caught by Max. She then laughs awkwardly, asking if that was too much information without him even asking. Sometimes the outside world you've never experienced can feel scarier than the familiar struggles you're used to. Max thinks that he always dreams of quitting and changing jobs, but for him, it's always just talk. He finally speaks up and says that it's impressive. People often say it. Developers are lifelong learners. He admits that he actually admires that about Joy, saying her refusal to settle is admirable. He continues, saying that at the end of the day, no company is responsible for their lives, so it's okay to think about yourself right now. He asks Joy if she agrees. She stares at him, making him doubt whether he talked too much. He continues, saying there's no way the company would change just because she left. A thought creeps in that Joy might think he's overstepping. Joy clutches her glass and thanks him for his support, saying it's impressive. Max suddenly shouts that she fixed the problem they were working on. When asked how he did it, he explains that it was a library version issue. He says that when she mentioned it earlier, it stuck in his mind, so he checked, and that was the cause. Max then asks if they can go home now, mentioning that he has requested a Q&A, and tomorrow he'll check other library issues as well. Joy smiles and asks Max if they should start a job change study group together. Max stares at her, wondering what she is saying. Joy walks by the lounge, realizing he pulled 2 all-nighters in a row. Max thinks about what Joy said yesterday about the job change study group and searches online for how to politely turn someone down. He's reading when someone calls out to him, asking if he's busy. Startled, he jumps, and the girl asks why he's so jumpy, pointing out the dark circles under his eyes. He calms himself and says she startled him, then asks what it is. The girl points toward the meeting room and says Donald is calling and wants to see Max for a bit. Max opens the door to the meeting room. Inside, Donald sits waiting. He's the leader of the commerce team, and his original name is Han Do-kyung. With a polite smile, Donald says Max has been working hard lately and offers him a chamomile tea, knowing he doesn't drink caffeine. Max thanks him. Donald then mentions he heard Patrick was on leave yesterday, so Max handled the issue for him. Max agrees. Donald continues, saying that 2 days ago, Max also handled Patrick's deployment. Holding the cup of tea, Max thinks to himself, what is going on all of a sudden? Donald says Max must be swamped with just his own work, and at this rate, he might even end up switching jobs. Max spits out the tea in shock, but Donald immediately reassures him, saying he was only joking. Donald then says that if Max is okay with it, they are considering renegotiating his salary around the third quarter. He adds that since the end of last year, when many people left the commerce team, it has been hectic for everyone. This process, he explains, is only for those who have worked especially hard. Max clenches his fist, wondering if this is for real. Donald mentions that the CEO has already signed off on this, emphasizing that from the company's perspective, retaining capable people is more important than hiring new ones. He also stresses that this is strictly confidential. Max stares at him. Donald takes it as agreement and hands him a card, saying that since Max worked hard handling the issue yesterday, he should go eat something nice together with Joy. Max thinks about the word together as Donald adds that Joy was the one who worked alongside him. Max clenches the card in frustration while Donald continues, saying that Joy is a valuable talent they barely managed to recruit for the accounting team. Donald explains that with no proper handover, things must be chaotic for her too, and that this is the least they could do to take care of both of them. He calls Max and Joy the present and future of the team, praising them as reliable as always. Later, Max goes to Joy and asks if there's something specific she'd like to eat, secretly wishing they'd just say it outright and let him splurge on the company card. Joy picks up her phone and says she already has lunch plans with the accounting team today. Tomorrow, she has a lunch date with Esther, the day after is the weekend, and Monday, she's on leave. All this makes Max wonder what she expects him to do. He pauses, doubting if she's telling him to just take the card and disappear. While he's still thinking, Joy cuts in, asking about dinner instead. Later, they are at a restaurant where Joy says they're lucky to have gotten a spot. She mentions she came here before with Esther, and that was pretty good. She adds that they still have unfinished business from yesterday to discuss, and there had been too many eyes on them during lunch. Max pours water into a glass, bothered by the thought of how he ended up in this situation. Joy flips through the menu nervously and asks Max what he wants to drink. He says he'll just have a zero Coke. She stands up and calls out an order of 1 zero Coke and 1 draft beer, adding they'll take set B. Joy sets the menu down and asks Max if he has given it any thought about the job change study group. She continues, saying that endless extra tasks from support work, never-ending overtime, and the same vicious cycle must have made him think about it too, about changing jobs. Max stays silent, but in his thoughts, he admits she's not wrong. Quitting or changing jobs has always been on the table. But Donald's words echo in his mind. Retaining capable people is more important than hiring new ones. This is strictly confidential. He finally speaks, saying there must be other developers considering job changes too. Why him specifically? He's curious about the reason, wondering why she chose him. She answers with a bright smile, saying it's because he's the complete opposite of her, leaving him awkwardly speechless. She continues, pointing out that every morning after clocking in, Max refactors code. He agrees, wondering if she checked his submission history. She adds that no one really notices, but he's been doing it constantly for a year. She says she thought he must actually enjoy refining things into perfect code. She points out that even the comments he leaves in the code are clear, so anyone reading them for the first time can immediately understand. His code, she says, reflects his kindness. Joy explains that maybe it's a bit slower, but it's flawless, and it made her reflect on herself. That's why it's him. She admits she admires that strength in Max. He stays silent, but memories flash, people telling him to stop refactoring deployed code and help the team instead, others saying to take it easy because no one appreciates his effort anyway. As he mutters strength, full of emotion, Joy says there's one more thing, another reason why it's him. When he asks what now, with a little laugh, she explains she doesn't think he'd ever cross the line. Max asks what she means. She hesitates before speaking and asks Max not to take it the wrong way. She explains that sometimes in clubs and study groups, there are men with ulterior motives. She says she doesn't believe he is like that. Max sips his drink and asks what she's talking about. She says that Max doesn't seem like the type to suddenly confess to her or anything. Max gets shocked hearing this. Late at night, Max comes back home and announces his arrival. His mother notices him and asks why he is late and whether he has eaten. He plainly says he is fine and walks ahead. The shower turns on, and Max comes out after taking it, drying his hair while thinking that typically, after a long day, he plays video games and listens to YouTube in the background to recharge his dopamine, or he continues watching a foreign drama he didn't finish. His phone rings with a message from Joy. He holds his phone, staring at the notification, pauses, and recalls when she said to him that he doesn't seem like the type of guy who can confess out of nowhere. He dismissed it as a compliment at the time, but now he wonders why he feels uneasy. Maybe he is overthinking. Still holding his phone, lost in thought, the sound behind him startles him. A girl appears, and he freezes before slightly turning, telling her she scared him. But the girl directly asks about the girl on his phone. He murmurs that it's just a coworker. The girl doesn't understand and reminds him of what she has told him before, to never date anyone from work. She is Max's older sister, Kong Soo-won. Max, annoyed, tells her she has the wrong idea, but Soo-won keeps saying that the girl is far above him, which makes Max uncomfortable. Soo-won lays down on the sofa, and Max asks her if she remembers her first job change. She casually answers that she does. She explains she prepared herself through a job change study group. Curious, Max questions her about it, and she tells him that they even built an app on the side. She then asks why he is suddenly bringing it up, wondering aloud if he is quitting. He denies it and says he is just weighing his options. She advises him to stay and teases that no one will hire an introverted guy like him, which angers Max. But still, she recommends that he join a job change study group, adding that it will be good for him to upgrade his portfolio through side projects and that if the members are good, it will be worth it. Deep down, Max keeps thinking. Soo-won tells him he will never know the right time to change jobs until he joins such a group and needs to prepare beforehand, all while messing with his hair. The next day, in meeting room 7, they are discussing the hotfix of last week's problem. No issues have been detected so far, but they need dev support as they are short on time. The meeting drags on. Max is sleepy from a lack of rest, all because of thoughts about job changes. The team lead calls out Max, saying they need his support as usual, but Max doesn't even remember what they were discussing. Patrick places his hand on Max's shoulder and says they need his help in the afternoon since he has a lot on his plate. Max is terrified, realizing he is always the one they rely on. Meanwhile, a female team member chats about preparing for a wedding while laughing. Patrick casually says that a good junior is always there for his senior. The female team member asks Max if he wants coffee for a caffeine boost, and Patrick adds that he will treat Max to coffee as well. The woman compliments Patrick, while Max clenches his fist, pissed off. He thinks to himself that after working together for a year, they still don't know he doesn't drink coffee. He recalls his moments with Joy, how she always brought him decaf, gave him chocolates for working hard under his sluggish senior, and even offered him compliments. He stays still in the present, deep in thought. Everyone else is busy working, while Joy snacks at her desk. Then her phone buzzes with a notification from Max. He is requesting to talk privately, and she curiously looks at the message. Under the cherry blossom trees, Max and Joy sit on a bench. Max directly tells her that he is interested in joining the job change study group. Joy didn't expect him to say that. Max clarifies that he is not in a hurry to change jobs, but he decided there is no harm in preparing early. He admits he doubts he will be happy with the salary negotiations for the third quarter. Joy exhales, saying she was nervous he would refuse. Max reflects that it's always good to have a backup, just in case. Cherry blossoms float between them. Max tries to look at Joy while thinking about her nickname. He doesn't know her real name, but he knows she has a sociable personality, excellent skills, and boundless energy that lifts up everyone around her, the complete opposite of him. Joy looks back at him, while Max deeply considers changing himself by spending more time with her. He clears his throat and asks where they should begin, holding his phone awkwardly. He wonders aloud if they should start a side project since he doesn't know how a job change study group works. He asks about the place and time. Joy cheerfully admits she hasn't thought about it yet. Max feels uncertain if he should trust her. Meanwhile, their female coworker, the one with long golden hair, walks out of the cafe holding 2 Americanos. As she heads back, she notices Joy and Max entering the building together. From afar, she curiously watches them. A cafe is busy with customers. Max thinks about how it has been 2 days since he agreed to join the job change study group. To plan for the future, he and Joy decided to discuss things at the cafe on the first floor of their company. He asks Joy about the interviews she marked on the calendar. She answers that she passed most of them but decided to turn them all down and canceled her scheduled interviews because she wants something great. Max asks her what she means, and she mentions the unicorn company. She explains that she thinks a trendy and highly developed company will suit her better since the packages will be good too. Then she asks Max about his thoughts, which leaves him confused. She repeats the question, asking what kind of company he wants to work for. He says he is unsure since he still doesn't know what will suit him and has decided to figure that out through the study group. Joy says she is curious about where he will be working a year from now. Max feels unsettled, but he tries to process it by convincing himself she just gave a polite remark. He changes the topic by saying they have a lot to discuss, such as the framework of their side project and the study location. Suddenly, their long-haired, golden-haired coworker approaches from behind, asking about the study group. A chill runs down Max's spine. Her nickname is Esther. She leans down, and Max tries to cover it up while wondering how much she overheard. He instantly thinks Joy will know how to handle it, but as he looks at her, she's also frozen. Quickly, Max tells Esther that Joy knows someone who manages a development study group, so he asked her if he could join that group as well. Esther accepts this explanation and says she always thought of Max as the type of person who just plays games after work. Her words hit Max hard. He wonders what her deal is, murmuring that self-improvement is essential, while still worrying about how much she might have understood. Esther is surprised to see this side of him since she has never seen him in a cafe since he started working at the company. Max feels like he needs to leave, so he excuses himself, saying it's getting late and he needs to finish his work. Joy adds that she needs to go to the convenience store and invites Esther to join her. Esther agrees. Before leaving, she calls out to Max, asking if he needs anything, but he casually shrugs it off. The next day, Esther and Max are discussing the design. Esther says the design has been approved, and they just need to check some specifications on certain features. Max asks about it, and she explains that they need to use debouncing to cut down on API calls. She adds that Joy can manage it since it's on the browser side, but she asks Max to check if indexing is required. However, Max is still preoccupied, wondering if Esther really didn't hear anything yesterday. Inwardly, he admits he can't focus on anything and worries that it might spread to others. He murmurs that this should not be happening. Esther notices his expression and awkwardly asks if it's difficult for him. Coming back to his senses, Max replies that it can be done and reassures her that they will make it happen, while also admitting that she knows a lot about dev terms. Esther glances at Joy's empty chair and then leans closer toward Max. She asks if she saw him and Joy together at the cafe, pointing out that he normally doesn't go there and that both of them have been working late nights for a while. Max begins to sweat, wondering if she has figured it out. Esther then brightly asks if he is interested in Joy. He freezes and denies it straight away. She says she thought, just like others, he joined the competition as well. Max asks what she means. Esther explains that Joy is pretty famous and has rejected many guys who try to get close to her. Max, surprised, tries to confirm if Joy is really that popular. Esther keeps counting and says that in her knowledge, at least 4 people have been rejected by Joy. She even mentions a couple of employees who quit after confessing. Max firmly says that work is work, and he thinks playing with emotions is useless. Esther complimented his quote, saying she agreed with him and started to mutter about what he said. Max admitted in his head that he only repeated what his sister had made him believe. He asked Esther if they had more to discuss. She said they were done and hoped his afternoon would be free of emotional drama before handing him a lucky ginseng candy. Max thanked her. In the evening, Max was still working while eating the candy Esther gave him. He thought to himself that even this candy couldn't stop the overtime. Joy appeared from behind and asked if he was leaving. He replied that it would take 2 more hours to finish Patrick's work. She then asked if he was interested in getting some fresh air on the rooftop. Max wondered if it was about the study group. Both of them sat side by side on chairs. Joy asked if weekday evenings were fine, suggesting only 2 times a week. Max agreed, saying they needed weekends to rest. Joy wondered about the location, and Max suggested Jeonja Station, one stop away by subway. Joy, taking a picture with her phone, said it was close to her home, and she was fine with it if he was okay too. Max replied that it was on his way home, and since it was just a quick cafe meeting, he would be fine. She then remembered that he lived near Ori Station while clicking photos of the sky. Max said that once they decided on the framework for the side project, they could start working. Joy completed his sentence, saying they could just coordinate online, while showing him the picture she had just clicked. Max agreed with her. The sun was about to set. Max asked if they could really do it. She said it wouldn't be easy with their busy jobs and frequent overtime, but she smiled, adding that was exactly why they were doing it together. Max was still unsure about it. Joy suddenly apologized for taking his time when he still had work left to do. Max said it wasn't a problem, but pointed out that her shift was getting late as well. She paused and then asked if they still needed to call each other by their nicknames outside the office. Max was startled, not understanding what she meant. Joy explained that calling each other Joy and Max outside of work felt a bit funny and suggested they use their real names when it was just the two of them. Max didn't think much of it and said he didn't mind. Joy called him by his real name, Donggu, and said she had heard it from Patrick. Max was startled because it felt strange hearing it from her. She asked his surname, and he said Kong. She then said his full name, Kong Donggu, and immediately asked if he was from Gangdong District, Seoul. He told her he was born and raised in Songnam. Joy giggled, saying his real name sounded more impactful than Max. Max felt annoyed and wondered when she would finally go home. They got into the lift, which started to go down. Both of them stood in silence while Joy stayed busy on her phone. Max thought the day was dragging on slower than usual. Suddenly, Joy called him by his real name again and wondered aloud if he wasn't interested in knowing her real name. Max says he is now curious since she has mentioned it. She smirks and tells him she won't let him know. Max is annoyed, thinking she is just playing with him. He tells her that employees' contact numbers are recorded in the company's emergency contact network and that their real names appear when one saves them on the messenger. As they reach the 10th floor, Max keeps thinking about it while walking out of the lift. Joy leans in from behind with her phone to show him something, startling him. On her phone, she shows him that she has removed her name from the messaging app. She says that now he won't be able to find out. Max thinks she is acting like a kid, going as far as to get off the lift just to show him that. Joy whispers in Max's ear that it was just a joke, that she will turn it back to normal, and suggests switching to a personal messenger for their study log. She explains that she recently came to know if someone has admin access, they can see all the conversations in the company messenger. Max understands. Then, instantly, Joy suggests exchanging numbers while showing him her dial screen. Max can't quite process it. Joy says he won't need to check the emergency contact list for her name anymore since she will just message him directly. Max agrees. That night, Max is in his room using his phone. He sees Joy's real name, Jang Chai-rin. He keeps tapping his screen, thinking it is the first time he has exchanged personal phone numbers with a coworker. He checks her posted photos as he swipes, which makes him think that she and he are from completely different worlds. If not for work, they would have never met. He remembers her saying she would text him, but after thinking for a bit, he switches off his phone and decides to sleep. The next day, Max holds his phone, which shows the conversation between him and Joy about meeting after work on Monday and bringing at least 2 ideas for their side project. He decides to look for ideas over the weekend and thinks it will be fun. When he reaches his workplace, he finds a guy standing near Joy, offering her a coffee, but Joy tries to excuse herself, saying she has emails to check. The guy keeps pressing, telling her she doesn't need to work so hard because the company won't pay her more. His name is Jong Juno, and his nickname is Jaden. Max walks past them to reach his desk while thinking about the guy's mindset. Joy watches him and instantly suggests that Jaden bring Max along too. Max didn't expect that. Jaden whispers to Joy that Max doesn't take coffee, and they should be mindful of that, then laughs. Max listens to the whole thing but doesn't say anything, though he notices Joy looking uncomfortable. Reluctantly, he agrees, saying he'll have a decaf Americano. Afterwards, he questions himself about why he even did that. All 3 of them sit in a cafe. Jaden asks Joy if she has gone to see the cherry blossoms yet. She denies it, saying she hasn't found the time. Jaden recommends she visit Siakchan Lake. Joy replies that it's far and must be crowded with people. Max thinks Jaden has been flirting with her all day, which is overwhelming. Jaden, trying to impress Joy, says he'll take her to watch the cherry blossoms before the rain if she's interested. Max instantly blurts out that Tanshan stream nearby is great too. Joy and Jaden look at him. He regrets speaking and tries to make it less awkward by adding that since Joy lives near Gyeongja Station, there's a nearby spot with beautiful cherry blossoms. He wonders why he spoke up at all when nobody asked him, but he finishes what he started, saying there are only locals at that place so it won't be crowded. Joy listens quietly. Max adds that he himself never had the chance to go there because he's always working overtime. Jaden awkwardly insists that hot spots are better than local spots. The coffee bell rings. Joy stands up instantly, saying the coffee is ready, and suggests drinking it upstairs. Max notices how quickly she stood up. Meanwhile, Jaden keeps staring at him sharply, making Max nervous. Jaden murmurs that since Max and Joy sit next to each other at work, they become close friends. Max regrets coming with them. Later, Joy closes her laptop as she is about to leave. She tells Max that she went to the park near the office with Esther during lunch break. She says the cherry blossoms were beautiful and adds that he didn't get a chance to see them because he ate alone. Max wonders aloud if she is teasing him, especially since he was stuck working overtime for their study log schedule. He thinks she enjoys teasing him. Joy pulls out her hand to give him something. Max wonders what it is and raises his hands to receive it. As she opens her hand, cherry blossom petals begin to fall out. She waves at him, saying it is a gift for him saving her earlier. Max doesn't get it and feels annoyed by the petals falling on the floor. She gives her farewell and heads out. Max tells her to pick up what she dropped, but she walks away. He recalls suggesting a spot to visit at the cafe. He pauses, glances at her, then moves his eyes and starts to speak. Joy looks back at him as he says her real name, wishing her a great weekend. Joy pauses briefly before cheerfully wishing him good luck. He keeps working, the sound of his keyboard echoing. Looking at his watch, he sees it's past 10 p.m. He decides to leave, thinking he has a lot to do over the weekend. As he reaches the elevator, he finds out it's under maintenance. He sighs and decides to take the emergency stairs. As he walks down, he hears someone talking in frustration, begging someone to stop crying and just talk. Max feels nervous, wondering if it's a fight. As he walks further, he sees two people together. The guy is saying he can't do anything since his feelings have changed. Max recognizes him as someone from the business development team. He looks at the girl while the guy says that relationships end when one person falls out of love. He calls her by her real name, Yoon, and says that if anyone is at fault, it's him, the bad guy. Max suddenly recognizes the girl as Esther. Max thinks Esther might have her own reasons, but for now he doesn't need to involve himself in this. He thinks he needs to pass through here to get home, so he decides to go back up. But then his AirPod falls down the stairs, making him scream internally. It drops near the guy's feet, and he instantly retreats back through the door. Breathing heavily, he wonders what he did in his past life to experience this. He curses in his head that he can't even leave peacefully at this late hour. He sits near the door while using his phone. After checking the time, he realizes 20 minutes have passed. He wonders if things have settled down by now, and if he should try again. He stands and reaches for the door, but when he thinks of Esther, he pauses, telling himself he shouldn't be thinking about that. With his eyes closed, he pushes the door and blurts out aloud that people who date at work are terrible. When he opens his eyes, Esther is right in front of him, making him startle. He nervously greets her and asks why she is still there. She pulls out her hand holding an AirPod, saying she found it by the emergency stairs and decided to put it in the office. Max instantly recognizes it as his but tries to shrug it off, saying he also wonders who dropped it and that he'll go first. He thinks he'll just pretend he didn't see anything and process it later. Esther, with wide eyes, grabs his arm. She wonders aloud if he uses the same one. A chill runs down his spine when he realizes he forgot to remove the other AirPod. She notices and asks why he is only wearing one. He murmurs that it's just his style. After a brief silence, Max nervously says he needs to go. Esther suddenly shifts into a sharp tone, asking where he is going. Max trembles in fear, wishing she would just leave him alone. Later, Esther slams her drink on the table as she and Max sit outside a convenience store. She admits that, in a way, it turned out better that Max was the one who witnessed her awkward moment. Max gives a plain response. Esther continues, saying he is quiet, knows how to balance work and life, and that she doesn't care what others think of him because she has always thought of him as a good person. She keeps drinking while he quietly responds. She speaks as if Max is there willingly, and he reluctantly agrees. Max inwardly cries, wishing to go home. Esther lays her head on the table, murmuring that she feels embarrassed for being dumped in the office with a co-worker as a witness. She asks if she should just disappear. Max, unable to do anything else, tells her she should go home and rest, but Esther keeps sharing what happened. She says the guy told her she was obsessive and demanding. She explains how she tried her best, waiting for him to finish work so they could leave together, even changing her schedule to match his. She says he didn't like her talking with male coworkers, so she gave him space. Max listens quietly, unsure what to say. Esther adds that she got a great job offer, but turned it down just to stay with him. Max wonders if clumsy comfort is better than silence. She says that despite all this, her ex still insisted he wasn't made for office dating. Max grips his drink tightly, thinking sympathy doesn't suit him, so he chooses to speak only about what he can stand by. He tells her he won't tell anyone. Esther looks at him, and he continues, saying it's nothing to be embarrassed about. He takes her drink from her hand and advises her to go home and rest without overthinking. Esther then points out her pinky finger. Max doesn't understand. She explains it's for him to promise not to tell anyone. He says she didn't need to explain, but she presses him, asking if he is embarrassed. He denies it. Annoyed, she tells him to hurry up. With no other option, Max Pinky promises her, not even sure what he is doing. He sees her off to a taxi. While sitting inside, Esther asks his birth year and suggests they could be friends if it's within a 2-year difference. Max shrugs it off, saying he's satisfied enough being co-workers, but Esther argues. Before leaving, Max snaps a picture of the taxi's number plate. He feels relieved to finally go home and walks in the opposite direction of the taxi. Esther watches him quietly through the taxi window. At home, Max sighs, murmuring that he is exhausted after everything that happened that day. Suwon appears next to him, drying her hair with a towel. She comments that he probably stayed late at work just to earn extra pay and asks why he hasn't changed clothes yet. Max says he'll wash up first. He adds that it's all-inclusive anyway. Suwon then asks if he can bring her dessert from a newly opened bakery near Jeongja Station tomorrow, since he doesn't seem to have any plans. It annoys him, and he argues, asking how she can request that from her brother who just got home past midnight. She cheerfully replies that she's helping him get some fresh air and stretch his legs since the weather is nice. She adds that the cherry blossoms near Tanshan look beautiful too. Max listens silently, too tired to argue. Suddenly, he remembers the cherry blossom petals Joy gave him earlier. He then tells Suwon to share the bakery's address. She's surprised but pleased, saying it's a good idea. The next morning, Max finds himself standing in a long line outside the bakery. He scrolls through the photo of cherry blossoms he took on his way. Frustrated, he curses under his breath that his Saturday morning is being wasted. Then his phone rings. He notices a call from Code and Canvas Jang Chai-rin Joy. He can't believe what he's seeing. Joy appears, holding her phone, smiling. She says she was curious about what name he saved her under. She reveals she saved his number as local Songnam boy Donggu. She laughs and comments that he saved her number differently than she did. Max startles and looks back at her. Joy giggles softly, saying he must like desserts a lot, and Max wonders about her sudden appearance here. At the bakery, Joy comes to know that Max is there on behalf of his sister. She says she would never do that if she were in his place. She adds that there are lots of events happening in nearby cafes and wonders if he might be interested. She mentions that since she lives nearby, she already knew about this cafe's opening. Max remembers her mentioning she lives close. She tells him that the cherry blossoms by Tanshan were pretty, and she has also taken some photos. Max wonders if it happened because of his suggestion from earlier, but decides not to think too much. As they head out, Joy asks Max if he has eaten. He replies that he will eat with his parents soon. Joy looks annoyed, as she thought they might eat together. She asks if he is lying because he feels uncomfortable. Max denies it. Joy laughs and says they will meet next week. Afterwards, Max checks his phone and learns that his sister slipped in the bathroom, and his parents are taking her to the hospital, so they postpone the family dinner. He pauses. Later, he heads into a restaurant. As his orders arrive, he regrets not eating with Joy. He thinks she would probably have paid for him too, since she has more free time than him, but then he feels that would be weird. As he starts eating, Joy watches him from outside the window. He suddenly looks back at her while she keeps staring. She changes her expression when she catches him eating alone, and after a brief moment, she walks ahead. Max feels awkward, not knowing how to explain the situation. Back to Monday after the weekend, Max reaches his workplace and sees Joy unusually quiet. He knows the reason. She must think he ignored her intentionally that day. He wonders if he should show her the family group messages, but thinks that might be too much. He feels frustrated, as he doesn't like dealing with emotions at work. Sitting at the back of the floor, he checks how many leave days he has left on his phone and finds out about their first study group session that afternoon. He curses, thinking he has no option. He even considers pretending to work late to postpone it. Patrick notices him and thanks him for covering last week, telling him to go home on time this whole week. It makes Max furious because Patrick always acts nicely when Max is going through a bad time. He sits back down, deciding it's best to clear things with Joy. He gathers his courage to speak to her, planning to explain that he saw her at the snack store. But before he can, a coworker with glasses approaches Joy, asking her to join the meeting in Esther's place since she took leave. Joy confirms if the meeting is in 5 minutes, and the coworker nods, then asks Max what he was saying earlier. Max quickly says it was nothing, feeling like he's going insane. Later, after work, the study group is held at a cafe to avoid being seen by coworkers. Joy and Max start by comparing their side project ideas from the weekend. Unlike in a company, they need to handle everything themselves from top to bottom, which will also let them learn things they can't at the office. Joy suggests creating a dating app and proposes they list down all the features by the coming weekend. Max, sipping tea, zones out. Joy calls his name, but he doesn't respond. She calls him a second time louder, and he finally answers. Joy says he seems tired and wasn't focused at the office either. As he tries to respond, she leans in and asks if it's because she saw him waiting alone that day. Max spits out his tea in surprise. He struggles to find the right words, but before he can, Joy suddenly apologizes. He doesn't understand. Joy pauses briefly, then admits that although she's energetic and outgoing, she sometimes overwhelms others. She says she realized that asking him to eat together without thinking twice might have made him uncomfortable. Max stays quiet, pulls out his phone, and shows her his family group chat. He explains that he wasn't uncomfortable. His family canceled the plan because of an emergency. Joy then asks why he didn't tell her right away with a call or message. Max replies that it was the weekend, so he didn't feel right bothering her. She asks why he didn't tell her at the office, and he explains that she seemed busy. After a pause, Joy says it was a mutual fault, but then adds that he is more at fault. Max, startled, asks why. Joy says she worried about it all weekend, wondering if he was uncomfortable or just being polite. Max realizes she tends to overthink. He apologizes, and Joy lightens the mood by asking for food as an apology. He asks if she likes chicken. She says yes, so Max sends her a picture of a chicken meal, and she tries to hide her laugh. He asks if she likes that menu. She says she does and thanks him for the meal. Max exhales, relieved, saying it's good to know, while Joy keeps smiling. That's how they successfully complete their first study group session. The next morning, Max reaches the office yawning, hoping Tuesday will be free of emotional drama, but he is wrong. In a meeting, Mickey, the business development team leader, praises the hard work of the commerce team. Max and Esther sit across from him. Mickey says the team will get supporting staff, and they'll start real work after 3 weeks. He says today is just a preview and tells them if they have questions, they can ask Andrew, a business development planner, and Esther's ex. Mickey asks if everyone is clear, and Esther responds positively while smiling. Max glances at her laptop and notices she's just randomly typing nonsense in frustration. Max silently wishes someone would save him.